Movie Day. I'm Ray Love Jr.
And I'm Tre'vell Anderson.
And we are Seated, the blackest show about movies.
Yes. Today's episode is all about The Smashing Machine, starring the Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson.
This is one of your season hopefuls in our fall movie preview episode. Was
Emphasis on hope. But I just really thought we just had to talk about it because it's Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson, and he trying to do his good acting, okay?
Well, we here now. But
yes.
Before we get into our thoughts on the movie, is there anything that jumped out to you in this past week over in the Hollywood headlines?
Yes. Okay. So, since the strikes that, changed the world, particularly in Hollywood, there's been all this conversation about like what the industry is going to do in response. And accordingly, there's this story from The Wrap that I want us to discuss. The headline is "Filmmakers Unpack the State of Indie Film and Shifting Value of Festivals." And it's this article with the CEO of Confluential Films, Tommy Oliver, talking about the film Fancy Dance.
Yes, Lily Gladstone.
Yes, which was a Sundance premiere.
Indeed.
I remember seeing that. And he talks about how, it took them 11 months or so after Sundance to secure a deal or an offer. And the biggest offer in that time was $40K, which... it take more than $40K to make a movie.
They don't even pay an actor's rate, honestly.
Some actors.
Okay.
No shade. No, just saying.
But not an actor who just
yes.
had like an Academy-nominated role in Killers of the Flower Moon.
Right. Yeah. And so in the article, it ends up being revealed that the only way that the film ended up getting what it did get is because Lily Gladstone was like, trying to, throw her weight around, her post-Oscars weight, that Killers of the Flower Moon weight. And so she publicly called out major studios for like not putting their money behind, these diverse films that they said they wanted to do. And so like that's how the movie came about. But I think it is a really interesting conversation point, particularly now where, folks are talking about like, does my film need to premiere at a festival? What is the worth of it? What is the benefit of it? Sundance is moving and shifting and changing. The Venice Film Festival, Cannes, whatever festival, you name it. Everyone's like kind to, I feel like trying to respond to the moment. And so I wonder what your thoughts are as somebody who is observing this from a different slice,
I instantly thought about a point you brought up in last week's episode with Taylor Swift making like that direct deal with AMC to distribute her, her album release or something like that. Yeah. Repeating what she did in 2023 and Beyonce did with Renaissance with, their concert films and removing the middleman. So like you don't really even need a distributor to get your film in front of audiences. And so I think it's interesting that in reading quickly up on the article, it looks like they're saying that the goal of festivals or the strength of a festival is now today helping filmmakers find audiences versus distributors, which I think is a good pivot, wouldn't you?
Is it? Do you? Because the reality is, while yes, there is and are alternative ways of getting your movie out there and finding audiences outside of, these formal distribution channels and efforts. And also, I want the folks who are most likely to be deemed like indie creators or see themselves as indie creators to also be able to get a payoff for the work. And often, I'm not saying all the time, but often the only way you get to do that, really, right? Particularly with indie finance things, is on the deal. Yeah. And so yes, I think it's great. Do festivals because it's particularly regular people deserve the opportunities to see these movies. Some of these movies that don't that won't be in a movie theater.
True.
And won't make it to Tubi, let alone, a Netflix or whatever the other ones are. But I don't want to. I think film festivals used to be spaces, particularly, the prestige festivals used to be spaces where, indie creatives could have a big break.
Yeah. Yeah.
And if the focus becomes just, we're going to help you, get your movie in front of, other eyes alone, where are the big breaks?
That's true. Because, some of our favorite Black films, whether you know it or not, came out of festivals like Sundance.
Sure.
Love and Basketball was one. Love Jones.
I think Love Jones, Tre'vell Station pops in my head.
It definitely gave them that moment. But on the other side of that, too, we have to think about filmmakers who never had that in. And I think of folks like Tyler Perry and how he built his audience from like a very grassroots place. And also Will Packer, like his very first film in college or out of college, Chocolate City, he distributed himself with like small screenings in markets that, he can really cater to. And I think there's something there with like giving the creators or empowering the creators to like go out and find their audiences, independently to help them, float through this time.
Yeah.
And I think of Donovan Ramsey, who earlier this year with his Substack, gonna shout that out, Had Happened. He did an interesting like analysis on Sundance Film Festival this past year, talking about how like Black filmmakers have been the folks who, because we have never really had the comfort of having guaranteed support from the system, have found ways to be creative and find our own. And I think this is kind of what this is touting to do with like where festivals are now, just like on a wider scale. Like now everybody has to go independent route.
Yeah, I just think about what that does, how that lets off the institutions.
Yeah. Well, and this is also worth noting that this was actually doing self-distribution with these direct deals was actually illegal at one point for like 70 years through the Paramount decrees, which is an antitrust thing to keep, studios from having a monopoly on things. And so it led up in 2020 after AMC repealed this law, and like now we're seeing AMC specifically do these direct deals. So, I mean, I'm interested in seeing what happens with this and like how festivals react, how filmmakers really move forward and kind of like the state, especially over like the next 3 or 4 years.
I mean, the last thing I'll say is that, the also reality is that many films never premiere at any festival.
True.
And yet they still find audiences that, or they don't.
Yeah.
You have an audience of two.
Yeah.
And that's just the reality of what I was going to say what we're doing here, but I don't make movies and I don't intend to. Amen? Amen. Okay, let's take our quick break. And then when we come back, we are going to dive into Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson and the Smashing Machine.
Yes. Do you smell what The Rock is cooking?
Well, I smell something.
Well, The Smashing Machine is a raw biographical drama about Mark Kerr, played by Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson, a legendary mixed martial artist who earned the fearsome nickname for his total dominance in the ring set. Based on the 2002 documentary, The Smashing Machine, The Life and Times of Extreme Fighter Mark Kerr, it's set in the sweaty, unglamorous era when MMA was still trying to find its footing, and it's a hard look at the price paid for what that kind of athletic aggression does. Now, it's finally time for us to get in the ring and share our review of Benny Safdie's latest film, The Smashing Machine. Before we get deep into our thoughts on the movie, though, Tre'vell, how familiar are you with Benny Safdie as a director?
I'm not. I mean, I've seen the stuff that he did with his brother, right? This is his debut, solo directing debut, if I'm not mistaken.
Oh, I actually didn't know that.
I might have made that up, but I feel like I heard that somewhere. And so I'm familiar enough, I would say, with the work that they've done in that pair. Uncut Gems, I believe, was one, right?
Yeah.
Which from was that Adam Sandler? Was that Adam
Sandler? Yeah, Sexually was one of my favorite movies of that year. Yeah.
Oh, I didn't like it, but yeah. So that's what I think of when I think of them. What about for you?
Well, for me, I definitely had to like do one of those IMDb credit pull-ups. And looking at what I see, I can't really say that I followed his work as a director, to be honest. The one film in his canon that I'm familiar with is Uncut Gems, which, as I mentioned, I loved. It just had an energy about it that really kind of pushed the film along in an interesting way. This was like just pre-pandemic. Like maybe it was like one of the last films I saw in theaters before the lockdown. And then he also directed, I see, Jay-Z's song Marcy Me from his last solo album 444, which maybe that gives him a little street cred in the hood,
Who's hood?
Marcy, the Marcy Project.
I don't think so. They don't know who No Safdie is either, respectfully.
Yeah. But did you also know he's an actor too?
Sure. No, I didn't. But I'm sure. What he been in?
Well, he played
Have I seen him?
in the 2023 film Are You There, God? It's Me, Margaret, which was one of my favorite movies that year. It's based off of the novel that I never read. But I mean, he played his role convincingly enough. But yeah, that's where I know him. I think he was also in Oppenheimer in a small role. But yeah, he's a multi-hyphenate, as we like to say. Millennial too. Yeah.
Well, love that for him. I did not know that he also is getting his acting on. You would think that would help him make a better movie.
Oh boy. Well,
but
I guess we know how you feel about this one.
I mean, the movie's fine. We'll get into it.
Yeah.
We'll get it.
Yes.
We'll get into it. We'll get into it.
So, yeah, speaking of acting, they say this is a different kind of role for Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson.
It is. Why did you say it like that?
Because,
you disagree?
I mean, when you look at all the promos, it's all about him being transformative and like him being serious or him taking on a different role. Like he's someone who's been hella visible. Like we've seen how many movies from him. He's one of the most successful technically at the box office actors that we have in our generation. And it's been very like intentional, it seems, in like pitching this film as his, I hate to say it, Oscar bait. And so yeah, that's kind of,
because that's what it is.
You think so?
I mean, he's not gonna get it, to be clear, if that's what you're asking. But that is what it is. We have seen the formula, right? That someone who, athletic prowess, turn it into an entertainment Hollywood career, number of years in, you really want to show them that you can do the thing you want, that cred. And so now you do a role. You actually create a movie role for yourself.
Which he did.
Okay,
he took this to Ben
so
Safdie.
that you can have that moment, because maybe those opportunities aren't being offered to him. Maybe there is a variety of ways that he, because of who he is, his body, his stature, etc., those things that might limit the kinds of roles, right, that we can see him in. And so I think for all those reasons, I think the trailer, the marketing around it is an accurate read of what this is.
I kind of feel like those limitations of his acting roles or what he's cast for is kind of a beast of his own making, because he seems to have chosen to be this type of like alt-ish version of like Tom Cruise, where he's making these movies where I don't think
it was his choice.
You don't?
I don't want to interrupt you. When you come from SmackDown, WWE, can you smell what The Rock is cooking? Which is acting.
True.
I feel like you are automatically limited. We've seen the same thing with John Cena, right? The kinds of films that you are most immediately thrust toward and encouraged to do, and those often becoming the majority of your opportunities, do kind of fit a pattern.
But then I counter with another wrestler, David Bautista, who makes more interesting acting choices, I think, in using his body as a way to subvert the expectations of someone who looks like that in roles that he's picked.
Yes. I would note with Dave Bautista, though, that Dave's roles, Dave hasn't, I don't want to speak out of chance. I don't want to speak out of chance with Mr. Bautista, okay? Because my lexicon of his filmography is not as present in my hippocampus,
Fair.
Right?
It's because he's not starring in these roles.
Well, so that's exactly what I was about to say. The majority of the roles that I can remember of Dave's, he's in the background. He's supporting. He's not the star. Yeah. He's not the box office, pull.
And The Rock wants to be.
He wants to be a star. He wants to be, what's the name of the number one on the call sheet. Yeah. And guess what? He is and he has been for a minute. Yeah. I'm sure Dave can say that on certain projects. Yeah. I'm certain, right? Yeah. He's been in this game a long time as well. But I hear the comparison or the pushback with that example. But I do think, if you want to be the main guy, and that is what your affect gives, they're not writing roles like this.
Speaking of his roles, do you have any favorite acting roles that Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson has had prior to this film? No? None.
Favorite?
Yeah, or just stand out, something that comes to mind even. I mean, he has quite a role of films.
He just be in stuff. Is how I feel at this point. All kinds of, not superhero, but superhero-esque, right? Like action, thriller, I guess I should Fast, one of them. I don't know what number, but one of the Fasts, and then the Hobbs movie.
Yeah, he very much so showed up in that franchise pretty aggressively. Mm-hmm. But as ridiculous as this sounds, the standout role for me that put him on my radar as an actor was his role as a Scorpion King in The Mummy Returns. Do you remember that movie?
Sure.
It was very much so oh, this is a big man acting, and I think he was effective. Okay. And he was able to get a sequel out of that gave him that first name on the call sheet.
What year was the Mummy?
God, it was early 2000s.
My point exactly. So your favorite role of his is at least 23, maybe 23 years ago. Yeah, come on now. Yeah, fair. I hate that for him.
Fair.
Okay, Tooth Fairy is what about me?
Not Tooth Fairy. Yeah. Anyway, let's bring it back around to his current film in theaters, The Smashing Machine. So what's something that you liked about this? Because I already know we can go deep into the things you don't.
And we will. What did I like? I think when you're doing a sports movie, particularly a boxing movie, the fighting scenes need to be it.
Yeah.
Right? There needs to be, I need to feel like I'm in it. I need to feel the punches. I need to wince when he comes, and I did.
Yeah.
And I did. I think that his history might have, lent him well. One, being super physical and action oriented, but also being a wrestler, being a fighter, because I believed it. Yeah. And you know what? I'll give him a little something. Is this the first year that the stunt, isn't there going to be a stunt category at the Oscars?
Is that this year?
Did I make that up?
No, it is. It is something that's coming. I don't know if it's this year or the next, but it's definitely something that's now part of the conversation, which I think is wild considering that somebody like Jackie Chan or Bruce Lee don't have the chance to get recognized because this is past their prime. Yeah.
It's not this. It won't be this year, y'all. It'll be the next year.
Yeah. A lot's happening in film in 2027. That's when Sundance is moving to Boulder.
Sure. Yes. Anyway, I did appreciate the fighting scenes. Yeah. They felt appropriate.
To that point, those were standout moments for me for more specific reasons, though. Specifically, I loved how they scored those moments. So when he was taking those punches, even when the fight was happening, there was this steady roll of percussion happening to help kind of build that energy. And when he took those strikes and took those hits, they would emphasize it with like horns, I believe, horns and like maybe piano sounds faintly. So that's something that I really did love. And I also love the angle they shot the fight scenes from. It wasn't like in Creed, for instance, how they're shooting very close up in the ring with them. It's very much so like kind of voyeuristic in that way, where you're watching as if you're like at the match from outside the ring. So all of the if you notice, all the fight scenes happen from an angle outside of the ring. So I love that. And speaking of the scoring and the sound, I want to shout out, did you notice the chick with the braids who played the national anthem? Turns out she's also the composer, arranger, and producer of the score for this movie. And it's also her debut film score album that's being released with the film.
Love that for her. Yeah, the score was cute. I particularly in those scenes. Yeah, sure. I
liked it.
Yeah, I'm not, to be clear, I'm not saying I didn't like it. I'm just saying there was other things that I was focused on to where that did not stand out to me. But I will note that the scoring, the composition did feel different than perhaps your typical, sports movie or boxing movie.
She was playing the harp for the national anthem, which was different.
Yeah.
And she's a black woman. She's a sister.
Yeah.
Her name is Nala Sinefro.
So that's not that didn't happen for real. Because it's based on a true story. It's based on.
Oh, yeah.
That's the part that's not based.
There are a few things that they took their creative liberties with.
Certainly.
But also, I will say that apparently this movie is almost, in some instances, a shot-by-shot remake of the documentary. Yeah, which I think is an interesting approach for a filmmaker. Some people may take issue with that, but yeah, I haven't seen the documentary, so I can't really speak too deep on that.
I feel like you can only take issue with it if you the documentarian.
True.
Okay.
True.
But although I'm sure, because if I'm not mistaken, the doc is what Dwayne used and sent to the Safdie man to get him to do it.
Yeah.
And so, I'm sure there's some sort of rights, you know what I mean? Like legal coverage.
One thing with this being a sports movie, they were not shy with like their training sequences. And another like sound or soundtrack moment that stood out to me was when they dropped in that needle drop from Frank Sinatra's I Did It My Way. That always works on me in every movie. It even worked on me in Joker Folie à Deux last year with Gaga when the Joker had like a big moment in the prison. So I love that needle drop. Like it worked for me. What about you? Did it do anything for you? Or
no.
Did you? Damn.
Because and I don't want to jump into my complications with the movie. But the reason why it didn't work for me is because I'm not sure the narrative itself supported what that song and what that scene is supposed to say to us. You know?
Fair. Before we get too deep into the dislikes, is there anything else that you did like about this movie?
I just like the fact that it is and was a kind of full circle moment of sorts for somebody who I watched growing up, carrying on, on the wrestling show. You know what I mean? And it's one of those roles that you know when people be like, "Oh, this is the role he was born to play." I do not believe that. But I imagine, I'll say it this way. I can see why he wanted to make this movie. And I can see why perhaps this was the movie, the chance to take the swing acting wise that he's taking.
Yeah. I think to the point about acting, some of the things they did that I thought was interesting or like spoke to me was the character study of this person, Mark Kerr, who is a big man, considering, his trade and his profession is literally beating bitches up. And as a man of size myself, I appreciated them trying to tell the story of someone who, although they appear intimidating and appear threatening, is actually a softie. You are not... You ain't picking this up, but that is something I appreciate. He was presented as more of a gentle giant, which I hate that term, but I did appreciate kind of that more inner exploration of this person who's known to be violent by profession. Even in moments where like we see him tipping up at violent moments in his personal life, but having that restraint. I thought how Dwayne handled that was effective.
Okay.
Or it matched what was on the page, I think.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Interesting. Okay. Oh
boy.
I hear that.
Okay, well, something else. Maybe this spoke to you because it spoke to me.
Hear that.
How'd you feel about the costuming? And by costuming, I mean like basic things. Like it was simple costuming, but things that stood out to me.
Yeah.
Like when he was on the plane and I guess listening to music, he had, instead of like headphones, like regular headphones, it was those over the ear that like goes over the neck headphones. And I was like, damn, I ain't seen these since I was like a jit in high school. Like, did that wear on you at least?
Well, yeah. I mean, the it is a period piece.
Yeah.
And it is accurately so.
Yeah.
From that point that you brought up to even the actual clothes, right? The style of clothing, the high-waisted.
The coach had on like a yellow Comp USA t-shirt, which I was like, USA. That is specifically of the early 2000s.
I love, Ray, that you can always find some things to highlight. Okay, you can always find some things to highlight because yes, we can absolutely shout out the costume designer. We sure can.
There was something interesting with the costuming too that happened when he like makes like a character progression, I guess, and he shows up with the shaved head and the one earring in the ear, which. It was in the gay ear. Are you familiar with that term?
Oh, not the gay ear, Jesus. Not the gay ear, Lord.
I wasn't familiar with that term until this week, but apparently it's like a thing. Yeah, I mean, I'm not an academic in that way.
No, but you are older. By which
much.
What I mean is that you were out and about and living and thriving in the world.
Just
in the
a few
90s.
years between us.
Just a few years. But yes, that's why I'm surprised that your first time hearing about it was on the Tickety Talks last week, because I feel like the gay ear was very 90s.
I missed it. I missed the moment. I was a kid in the 90s. Like I was maybe 10, and it wasn't like. Okay, so what brought this into my sphere in 2025 was the TikTok of the creator talking about the Moesha episode where she literally outed Hakeem's gay cousin.
Moesha was the villain, for the record.
But he calls out that like one of the signalers of the character being gay before we knew it, or that was a moment, was him having an earring in the gay ear. And I looked, I said, gay ear?
It really is a thing. It really is a thing. Like all kind, but even in just culture and community, and I remember being in middle school, high school, and folks having conversations about boys having conversations about wanting to get their ears pierced, but having to. You either have to get both pierced, or you got to make sure you get it pierced in the right, the correct one.
I missed that conversation.
I remember that. But and so Dwayne has a moment.
He looks good. He looks the most like The Rock in that moment. But I think it was also there that I realized that maybe there was like something happening with prosthetics to reshape his face.
Yes.
So that he didn't look specifically like The Rock. Because I was like, he should literally look like who we knew The Rock to be in the early 2000s, but he didn't exactly. But I think he looked good in that.
Yeah, I don't think he should look. I think because the thing to remember, right, is also Mark Kerr. Mark Kerr is a Puerto Rican,
which yes,
which I want to dive in. I want to give you enough space to get all of your likes out. Okay.
One last like.
You keep going.
The last like I have to get out is that I did appreciate the use of exposition in the script, where as someone, are you familiar with MMA or like even
the fighting?
Yes, or like the sport itself. I'm not that familiar. My deepest knowledge of MMA is Keith Lee from TikTok, and just because he shared his story about him coming from being an MMA fighter to being like a TikToker doing food reviews.
Oh,
that was literally as deep as it went for me.
I missed that. I didn't know that lore.
Yeah,
Okay.
he had okay.
How you doing?
Anyway,
I have heard that. To be clear, I have heard that.
There's a moment when Mark Kerr is in the doctor's waiting room or something, and there's an old lady who sees him like having been beat up in the match that we just witnessed, and he takes that time, or the script takes the time to like explain what MMA is to her, and she's kind of like a surrogate for people in the audience who may not be familiar with the sport. And like, I thought it was really smart how they did it in a way that wasn't as rote as like some exposition can be in films, where he literally broke down MMA is like a combination of different things, from combat, from karate, from wrestling. And it was in that moment I was like, oh, this is what MMA was. And we just moved along from that. Like, that was all that we had to know to understand what was going to be, you know, coming as things got revealed throughout the movie. So that was the last thing that I liked from the movie. I won't hold you no more, because I think you are ready to take off.
Well, beautiful people, let's dive in, shall we? Okay, so I want to start with the really incisive point that you made about, you called it a character study of this, like, you know, bigger bodied person, the what is it, the gentle giant trope, you know, idea. I left this movie unsure why this man was a fighter.
Yeah.
I said to myself, what is his why?
Yeah.
Why are you doing? Yeah, we know you're good at it, but why are you doing it? Why? And they try to, in these character study moments, they try to make it seem like, oh, well, he likes the adoration. He likes the audience. He likes that high, that orgasm. I think there's a moment where he likens it to an orgasm or something, if I'm not mistaken. Which I hear, and yet that point, it did not feel congealed enough in terms of the narrative and the story of not only his why, the main person's why, but also the why of why we're here.
Yeah.
Why do I need to know this man's name?
Yeah.
The last scene of the movie. Am I saying? Are we diving? Okay.
We got to the end faster than I thought we would, but let's go. Let's go there. We here now.
No. I guess what my point in bringing that up is, right, the last scene of the movie is a shot of the real Mark. Shopping in a grocery store.
Checking out.
You know, it's literally very simple, and there are words on the screen.
And it's abrupt. Like, we get chyrons on the screen that essentially tell us what happened to the characters after the point that the film ends.
Yes.
And continue.
You didn't like go ahead. No, because I want to hear you before I dive in. Go on.
That was a pain point to me, and also like your questioning about the why. So when it comes to biopics, I typically have preferred films that focus on a specific time in a public figure's life, so that we can have a more focused lens on the story. It just feels more dynamic. But those are typically with figures that are more widely known.
Sure.
Like, we know the story, so we don't need to know the cradle to the grave story of this person through a biopic. This is different because Mark Kerr is a bit more of an obscure figure, considering the sport is very specific. And it's like, if you weren't a fan of this thing in your general audience like me, you wouldn't be familiar with him. And I would have appreciated knowing, why did he come to this sport? What pushed him to be so aggressive? Like, when did he discover the talent of being able to beat people up and like make money from it?
Yeah.
And the way they brought that around, or tried to, I guess, tell us that in the very last 5-10 minutes of the movie with this scene, was with words on the screen saying, this man is widely known and is like a pioneer of MMA, and the reason why MMA fighters make millions of dollars today. And it's just like, but that wasn't conveyed in the film.
Yeah, that's my exact problem. with that last scene with them words on the screen, you are telling me what I'm supposed to be taking away from this. They literally say that it literally says that MMA fighters today, everyone knows their name, but no one knows this guy's name. His name is Mark Kerr or whatever. Yeah. So I know his name, but I don't know. So what?
It's like you're trying to legitimize
so what?
This time we just spent watching this movie because clearly something was missed in the actual story. In the words of the great songwriters Field Mob and Sierra, so what? He did a little this, he did a little that. So what? And the so what is what is missing from this movie. So much so that, you know, for 45 minutes, an hour into the movie, I was like, okay, but what? Yeah. And then there's a moment of the movie where him and his girlfriend, girlfriend, partner, that woman. They eventually we find out in the that scene with titles on the screen that they do eventually get married and were married for like 6 years.
Oh, okay.
Had a kid.
Yes.
But during the movie, they're just girlfriend.
During the movie, they're just girlfriend, boyfriend. Okay. But they're having consistent arguments. I will say, this is something I can say positive really quickly. The chemistry between Dwayne and what's this lady name?
Emily Blunt.
Yes. I believed it. Okay. And now I know they've been in a movie together, at least one movie together before, if I'm not mistaken. So I believed it. But there's a scene in which she says in the argument that he don't even know her. She says, you don't even know nothing about me. Or something like that. And I realized, I said, I don't know nothing about you either, and I don't know nothing about him.
They were so uninterested in her character to me in this film in a way that I was like, if this is supposed to be his emotional arc in the film through her, why don't we know more about this character?
Well, it's not her story.
It ain't.
You know? But I also think that this is why I think so much of my consternation in this film is around, again, the story, the core of it. Why are we here besides you having a potential, calling card that you can do hard acting, capital A acting. Because for me, one of the things I try to do in my criticism is comment on the impact of a movie when it comes out. Like when it comes out, what are we to do with it? How is it shifting things? How is it moving things? How is it speaking to things? And this is one of those movies where it doesn't make me want to go learn more about Mark. It doesn't make me want to go look at what's the beloved, what's her name, Ronda Rousey, is that it? That's UFC. But that it doesn't make me want to go. It doesn't do what I think it wants us to do.
And I think it's because of some directing choices too, because in moments where I thought we were about to get that swelling sports moment where there's either victory or defeat, it kind of gets a bit snuffed out in how the director pulls out. We see, for instance, after he loses that first, not loses, interestingly enough, doesn't win the first fight. I'll put it that way. We follow him and we think we're going to get this explosive moment of his reaction once he gets behind closed doors, but he just goes and he just cries. And it's like, sidebar, not a single tear came out that man's eyes when he was supposed to be crying in that locker room, which is another kind of
it's the drugs.
But if you're gonna
drives you out,
if you're gonna do this full-on cry moment, give me a tear. If you want that Oscar, give me some waterworks. Nevertheless,
he tried.
It felt like, to your point, they were just scratching the surface of moments, but pulling punches when I really wanted him to thrust the throttle.
So I didn't mind the zagging where we might have expected some zigging. Because I do think that it does breathe a different kind of life into this biopic boxer wrestling kind of paint by the numbers approach, right? That we've seen so many movies, you know, post Creed in particular, or not Creed. What's the original? What's the original? Rocky. Post Rocky try to embody. And so I did appreciate these small efforts to do something different and you know, make his mark on the movie, but on the movie style. But it because I also think that was supposed to. It's interesting that you say that, because to me, those kinds of things were supposed to speak to what that character study moment you brought about, like this gentle person who could have had these outward reactions, but was very, you know, timid.
I think I was just looking for more of a contrast there to show shifts in decision making by the character. I think the point you make about like it zagging where you want to zig, like as an audience, as a viewer, I was just like, felt like I was constantly just waiting for the shoe to drop, and the shoe never dropped, which is why like an hour in, I was like, once I realized this is what like the pattern was going to be, I was like, am I bored? Like, is this not, because it just was lacking that kind of like that burst that I needed in moments that like we would typically get in a sports movie. And it wasn't fully inert, but it definitely was just like, it felt like a very lo-fi momentum.
Yeah, and I think that was intentional. I do think that was intentional because we know that typical sports movies don't really fare that well.
Yeah.
So, you know, this is assuming that they were in pursuit of this, you know, prestige kind of label for the work.
The most successful version of this type of film getting the acclaim that I think they were reaching for specifically Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson is what Will Smith did with Ali. That was a sports movie that got him up and through the Oscars. And I just was like, maybe, I mean, but Ali is also a more familiar figure.
I'm about to say, and it's no disrespect to Mr. Kerr, the man, okay? But to your point that you made earlier, because we do not know much about this man and his motivations, right? Because the beginning of the movie, if I remember correctly, at the beginning of the movie, we hear him in an interview.
Yeah.
And we start to see these scenes of the beginning of his career, but we don't really know much about what predates it per se. And if we do, I don't remember it, and so you didn't do a good job, Mr. Safdie.
It wasn't there.
If it was there, but yeah, it just the smashing machine did not smash.
Yeah, and your point earlier about like not understanding the why, I would have loved to like, I did Google Mark Kerr just out of like curiosity of still wanting to know, okay, I'm missing something. Why do we have a film about this man? And discovering that he's Puerto Rican.
Yeah.
That was not anything
in the movie
that was in the film or even addressed. Like when you look at,
besides the curl pattern,
I thought maybe he was a light-skinned black man because, you know, The Rock presents the way that he does, but he also has like the benefit of looking ambiguous on the screen. But that could have been something that could have added an interesting texture, no pun intended, looking at The Rock and just, so how old do you think this character was?
Yeah.
During this period of time.
Yeah, well, but that's the thing, that was the goal here is, right, to play it, for this to be one of those roles where you do play him across generations, across ages, right? And he attempts to do that. Obviously, well, I shouldn't say obvious, but he is better, more convincing, you know, in the later scenes in which the character is older, and closer to age and presumed stature, right, of The Rock today. But this is one of those situations where, you know, it is really based or inspired, and y'all took some licensees. But to that point, one of the things I felt like was missing was like, where's the cultural identity, like specifically? This is a Puerto Rican man. And I want to note the reality, because I haven't seen the doc, the reality and the truth of Mark Kerr's life might be that he did not
have a strong cultural tie.
That may be the case.
But what's hard to me is that this was a very international story, and that many of these fights took place in Japan.
Yeah.
And I'm just like, okay, we have all of this international visual here with this man who was obviously not a white man. So where is the acknowledgement of this? Because, you know,
and they don't talk about the his race,
no mention,
or identity.
It's just American. Like, there's a point where the announcer's like,
American.
"This is the first time that these fights are airing in North America."
He's just, and no shade, no shade. This, you know what?
Uh-oh.
This makes me think. Let's talk about, because we've been skirting around it. Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson is somebody who, because of what he looks like, right? He himself has waffled in and out of blackness in terms of claiming it publicly. Okay, and in terms of the cultural perception and response to him, right? Which, of course, he don't got nothing to do with, right? The culture is the culture, and you know. But that waffling, in specificity, or just that general ambiguity, right? The kind of ambiguity that allows you to pass in many ways as white.
Yeah, and he does this thing that
which is what this movie does.
Yeah,
for the character, it makes him pass as white.
He's mastered code switching too, like knowing how to play in black spaces versus, you know, mainstream spaces.
I think he played the same in all the spaces, if I'm being quite honest. But black people are very forgiving.
When you see him kikiing with like Kevin Hart doing press tours, he does homeboy it up a little bit more than he would in other spaces, but you know, I digress.
Yeah, but is that code? Well, we don't need to do a character study of Dwayne Johnson, because that's not why we're here. But go ahead.
Something else that, like, and this is going to be a slight petty turn. Something else
that's okay. We can rap on a petty turn. Why not?
That grinded my gears. I felt like they were toying with us a little bit in this moment, but. What was with the modesty? So the scene after the fight,
in the shower,
he goes into the shower with his towel on and turns on the shower, and I'm like, "Ooh, we finna see a little bit of The Rock's cheeks for once." And they play us. He don't drop the towel. They do a tight shot when he's in the shower, and that's it. I'm like, damn, we couldn't get a little cheek, like just a little flash or something. You know, I mean, or he's one of those actors who probably has one of those modesty clauses or nudity clauses where he doesn't show skin or expose himself on screen. But that was definitely something that I felt like y'all were trying to give us blue balls on purpose, because you know we was looking for it. But
okay. Well, I didn't have that take, but I did notice the scene and how long he kept the towel on. In this, so I did notice it, but okay. Let us get to our ratings. Seated, skip it, or stream it.
Well, I mean, with all that being said that we just shared here, I think my final verdict on The Smashing Machine, I would have to say, despite it all, I'm going to say seated. Just because if he's making this play, I need people to witness the thing that he thinks is his Oscar moment so that we can all understand collectively that that ain't it. So I'm going to go with seated. Yes, seated.
Well, y'all know I'm not afraid. Skip it.
All right. Well, there you have it, folks. We are seated in a skip it. I don't think it requires much more inspection.
But you should watch it still. But also, you know, this is one of those movies.
Choose pick a side. We ain't playing both sides of the fence, Cynthia.
I'm just saying. I'm just saying, this is one of the movies. I'm going to skip it. I'm going to skip it. But if you happen to stumble on it.
It's a long
thing to
way
stumble
between
on.
skipping and seating. You can even say stream it.
I'm not even gonna say stream it because my God, it's like a step under stream it, and that we only have skip it. Okay, let's do our critic spotlight. The Rotten Tomatoes tomato meter is at 74%.
It is
at the time of our recording. So what's that? A C?
That's roughly a C.
You know.
Yeah.
And the popcorn meter.
I don't think we have a popcorn meter yet, do we? The movie just came out.
It did just come out.
Quick Google. Oh, okay. Well, we have one today, and it's currently. What would you guess it to be at for audience?
I probably would guess it to be. I think it's going to be higher than what the critics put. Because I think so. And so the critics put 74%. So I'm going to say 76%.
So the popcorn meter with over 100 verified ratings is currently at 80%.
Oh, that's cute.
So the audience is liking it more than critics are. But
well,
that's
I done told y'all I'm a snob. So I'm a snob, but, a little ratchet. But that's so okay. Okay, so overall, though, mixed feelings.
Mixed,
It's not a knock out the park.
It's mid,
Very mid, as the kids say. Okay, you have a critic that you wanted to spotlight.
Yeah, so this is one of those interesting situations where I couldn't really find one critic that identified closely with my feelings on it. So we have two. And so the first Black critic spotlight is coming from Shaquille Lambert of Comics Gaming Magazine. And he writes, Dwayne Johnson impressively captures Mark Kerr in The Smashing Machine, but it's a fantastic performance surrounded by a merely okay sports movie. And that's pretty close to where I am. It's like his performance is fine, but the story is nah.
And then I will highlight another person. This is Carla Hay of Culture Mix. Disclaimer, I do not agree with this this read, but it does speak to, I think, that 74%, that 80%, mid-range that it is in. Carla says, The Smashing Machine subverts many of the usual cinematic formulas of athletes struggling with inner demons. In this biographical drama of former MMA champ Mark Kerr, Dwayne Johnson gives a performance that can be quite devastating. Quietly, devastating. And I was indeed devastated.
Well, with that, we can go ahead and wrap up our review, and we would love to hear what you think of this film if you do catch it in theater. So drop in the comments below whether you think it's worth being seated for or if you recommend folks skip it so that we have more voices tapped into this conversation.
Yes.
We're going to take a quick break and come back with the Black Cinema Games.
Pew, 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 pew.
Back again, and now it's time for my favorite segment this week and every week, Black Cinema Games.
Okay, Black Cinema Games. What do you have for me today?
So I think it's time that I switch it up a little bit. I know we've been playing a soundbite game for the last few episodes, but I wanted to kind of mix it up and throw you off your toes a little bit.
Why would you do that?
Because you was getting too comfortable. You was putting a little too many points on the board. Well,
it's because I'm an audible learner. I like that. Okay, so what do we have this time then?
This week's game is called The Credit Crawl. That you have any idea of what that could be?
Credit crawl. So the people's credits. You gonna give me somebody's credits, and I have to tell you the movie?
You get it. You get the gist of it.
Okay.
So the rules are: I'm going to run down the credits of a movie in Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson's catalog.
Oh no!
Since we did dip into his IMDb, I figured you could do this. I'm going to give you 3 clues, and you have to guess the movie from those 3 clues.
Oh my God! Let's do it.
I mean, we just breezed through his IMDb page earlier, so I figured
that was a very quick breeze. That was a very quick breeze.
You was defending man's acting like it was.
I didn't do that. Okay, rewind the tape. I did not defend the acting. I just said he tried.
All right.
But let's do it. Let's see what the filmography has to offer us. Credit crawl.
Let's go.
Credit crawl.
We're playing credit crawl.
Yes, credit crawl. I tried to say credit crawl and then credit roll. Anyway, go for it.
You're going to guess the Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson film from its credits.
Yes.
Here's your first clue.
I'm here.
Clue number 1. This film was released on Christmas Day in 2017. So this was a Christmas movie, which tells you something about it.
Does it?
It should. Studios don't just be dropping movies on Christmas. That's a big...
2017.
Yeah.
Ooh. Oh, okay. What's the second clue?
Okay. Clue number 2. The synopsis reads on IMDb, 4 teenagers are sucked into a magical video game, and the only way they can escape is to work together to finish the game.
I don't know
video
this.
Game.
Oh, yes, I do.
Are you sure you don't want the third clue?
Go for it.
3 of the cast members include Nick Jonas, Jack Black, and Kevin Hart.
Oh, okay. Yes, I do know this.
2 of which are featured on the poster.
I do know this. This is Jumanji.
All right. We got one board one point on the board. I'll let you have it.
I thought it was going to be, and I don't even know if he's in this movie, but it's like some superhero kind. Red Notice.
He was in a movie called Red Notice. Yes. He's done quite a few of those types of films.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
I thought it was that one just because Christmas.
All right. So, yes, it was indeed Jumanji Welcome to the Jungle.
Thank you.
Yes.
Shout out to that last, both of those 2 last hints.
And that was a legacy sequel from the Robin Williams film.
Yes.
Jumanji, which was one of my childhood favorites.
Yes.
Yeah. All right. Movie number 2.
Okay.
Here's your first clue. Dwayne Johnson's character name in the film is Daniel Franklin.
No.
All right. Clue number 2.
Daniel Franklin.
Other actors credited in this film included are both dearly departed Cicely Tyson and Louis Gossett Jr.
Okay.
R.I.P. The legends.
Next. I didn't know he was in a movie with the legends, with the icons.
Clue number 3.
I do.
It was written and directed by the one and only Tyler Perry.
Yes, as soon as you started the last clue, I was like, if he's in a movie with those 2 black legends, it's gotta be a black movie. And then I was like, what black movie he been in? Why Did I Get Married? Is it not Why Did I Get Married? What is it?
You close.
Why Did I Get Married 2?
Yes.
Oh, okay, the second one.
Damn, I wanted to give you that bonus clue.
No.
Which is in the news because we just heard that they're currently filming the threequel.
A threequel,
yes. That has Taraji sprinkled into it, which I saw a hilarious tweet that said Tyler Perry be putting Taraji in movies and sprinkling her own like paprika. Hilarious. All right.
Keeping her employed, child.
We are 2 for 3, which I didn't expect you to sail through this like this.
I don't know why you didn't.
Anyway, are you ready for movie number 3?
I just want to know, the reason why I'm getting this is because of the other black people that you are highlighting he was in these movies with.
I figured I actually thought that would be the one you got. I thought Jumanji would be a bit more difficult, but here we are. But Kevin Hart was absolutely the giveaway. Had to be.
Absolutely.
Anyway, movie number 3.
Yes.
We're playing Credit Crawl, where you're guessing the movie, the Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson movie from the credits.
Okay.
Clue 1. This movie was released on my birthday in 2016.
Okay, so that is a November release.
Mm-hmm. You don't know my birthday is, do you?
It's November.
You don't know the date.
Yes, it is. It's by Thanksgiving.
Yes.
I don't know if it is Thanksgiving, but it's by
Sometimes it's Thanksgiving.
Oh, okay.
It's the 23rd of November.
Okay.
I'll give you that.
Okay.
Yes.
Don't be trying to blame me now. You know.
Which would have possibly made this a Thanksgiving release that year.
So a November release.
Yes.
Okay, keep going.
Clue number 2. The Tony Award-winning actor Nicole Scherzinger is a cast member.
Okay, keep going. What's the third?
Oh man, I don't like this.
No. I go ahead.
In 2018, Lin-Manuel Miranda won the Grammy for Best Song in a Written for Visual Media for the song titled "How Far I'll Go."
The Rock?
Yes.
So I have no clue. I have
a bonus clue.
Oh, okay, I have a guess.
I have a bonus clue.
I don't know okay, yes.
Do you want to guess before the bonus clue?
No, what's the bonus clue?
The bonus clue is that in 2017, which now we're playing across 3 years at this point. The movie came out in 2016. That Grammy was won in 2018.
Yeah.
But in 2017, Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson was nominated for an NAACP Image Award.
Okay, well now hold on.
Which you also are a winner of.
Yes, I am.
For his performance in this film. He was just nominated. He didn't win, but yes, that is your bonus.
It's all for the same movie.
All for the same movie. Yep.
I can I ask follow-up questions?
You can ask.
Okay, so I don't know. I don't know this answer.
He's critical.
I don't know
to the story. His character is critical to the story.
Okay,
he's not the titular character, but he's critical to the story.
For some reason in my head, it was Annie. I don't even know if he's
He
in
was in
Andy.
Andy?
No, I don't think he was in Andy. I don't think so. But I'm like,
Yes,
what was
okay.
Nicole Scherzinger in?
Finally scooped you. His character. Well, I'm going to tell you the film before this, but the film is Moana, Disney's Moana.
Oh, he did
and he
the
played
voice.
the character Maui.
Yes, he did.
Yes, yeah.
Yes, he did.
Yes.
That was a trick question.
Nothing was a trick about it. These are all straight facts.
That was trick because I was thinking in live action.
I never specified. I just said it was in the credit.
You did. But that's why I was like, Nicole Scherzinger, what's she been doing?
Yes.
But yes, voice acting.
All
Absolutely.
Right. Well, you got 2 out of 3 this week, which has actually been kind of your trend in these games. So I got to make it a little tougher.
Wow. You should also give me more questions. That way I can get higher than 66%.
No. If you played along at home, let us know how well you did and add us at Seated Show or drop it in the comments below, wherever you're listening.
Yes. Thank you so much for Credit Crawl. Now let's get into our recommendations.
Yes.
Okay, our good vibes only segment. Would you like to start us off?
No, you start this time.
Oh, okay. Yes. So my recommendation is going to be I try to stay in theme of sorts. So we saw a boxing movie. I'm going to recommend a boxing movie that came out last year, I believe. The Fight.
I know where we going.
You didn't like it? You didn't like it?
Tell the people what it is.
It was called The Fight.
The Fire.
The Fire.
Yes.
The Fire?
The Fire Inside.
The Fire Inside. Yes, not The Fight Inside. Yes, I was literally trying to Google it and it wasn't coming up.
Yeah.
The Fire Inside, okay? Directed by Rachel Morrison, who is a legendary cinematographer starring Brian Tyree Henry.
Your Morehouse brother.
Yes, my Morehouse brother. Also starring
the star.
Yes, what is her name?
Ryan
oh my
Destiny.
God. Yes, so sorry, girl. Ryan Destiny playing Clarissa Shields.
Yeah.
And I enjoyed that movie, although Ray obviously did not.
Don't see it. Tell us what y'all think.
It's on the Netflix.
Yes, yeah.
It's on the Netflix. So I would recommend that because I liked that movie, and particularly how they captured the fighting scenes in that film.
We did tell the people that our tastes differ vastly. So go see it and let us know if you're on Tre'vell's side or if you're on my side.
I just think it's something you should watch. I didn't say it was,
this is a recommendation. This is a good vibes recommendation.
I think it is a good vibe. It's a better vibe than Smashing Machine.
Okay.
Oh, you disagree?
I mean, they both are in that mid area.
Okay.
But
okay. Well, what you got for us, then?
I only have one recommendation for the people this week, and it's not quite on theme, but it's quite layered.
Okay.
Yes.
Is it a cake?
From all angles. I mean, cakes? No cakes are involved in this one. I was gonna anyway.
It's fine.
So I feel that this is the appropriate season as we are both proud HBCU graduates, and it is officially homecoming season for this recommendation. The thing that has given me good vibes this week is the October 25 issue of Ebony Magazine's homecoming issue, which stars my Rattler brother, Woody McClain. We both went to FAMU together at the same time, and he's been an actor doing his thing. That's the first layer. The second layer is that the cover story was written by the one and the only Sylvia Obell, who, fun fact, we interned together at Essence way back in the day. Not too far back, but in the good old days of Essence.
Are you sure?
Yes. Special shout out to another layer, Corey Murray, who was now, she's the EVP of editorial at Ebony, and she was working as, I think, director of entertainment at the time we were there. So it's wonderful to see her, continuing, doing all the great things in that space. Another layer is, I want to shout out the homie Lewis, aka LC Lux, who actually styled Woody for this cover.
Okay.
Yes. And that's where, one more layer just because of the date. It is October 3rd, 1887, which is the founding day of the Florida A&M University that we are recording. And so I think this is all prescient for this to be my good vibe for the week. Go check out the October 2025 issue of Ebony Magazine. The homecoming issue.
You know what? I ain't even gonna say nothing because we gotta support the black press, okay? Yes. And so do what he say, okay? I leave the rattler of it all alone, okay, for the time being. But shout out to y'all and your founding, okay? Somebody had to find them, y'all, okay?
Not too much. Not too much.
Alrighty, beautiful people. That will do it for this week's episode. Join us next week for a conversation on Kiss of the Spider Woman. Yes. J-Lo. We're gonna discuss.
Musical.
Okay.
Thriller?
Musical thriller. Thriller?
Ooh, I can't wait to see how all these
and
things
Diego
come together.
Luna. So, you know, it'll be fun. It'll be fun.
Yes.
We'll see y'all next week, y'all.
If you enjoyed this episode, share it with a friend. If you're watching us on YouTube, give us a like and tap the subscribe button. And if you're listening, give us a 5-star rating and review us in your podcast app or wherever you're tapping in today. It'll really help folks find us as we grow. Seated is an independently funded production, and your support can help us go further. Consider becoming a card-carrying member of the Seated Movie Club at seatedshow.com/join, where we'll be bringing you more of this popcorn-worthy content, special events, and more. And how do we do all that we do? Well, you know it's not by ourselves. Our theme music was created by Buckrow and animation by Zhang ID, with creative consulting by Jade Fox and publicity support by House of Heralds. This week's episode was edited by Ray Love Jr. Seated is a co-production of Slayzhon and FiftyLeven Media. It's hosted and produced by Tre'vell Anderson and Ray Love Jr. and filmed on location at the Walgood Yard. See you at the movies. Holla!
Whoa! Sorry.
Got it all out?
Yeah.
Okay.